Hey, what's up, Friday? Did 7 days already go by again? Because the frickin' has just finished playing. It's Happy Friday America time. I'm excited to be here as normal. You know, let's do our best to maintain this energy throughout the week. My name's Arthur, and I'm staying consistent with it. I'm going to be having a great time. We have an awesome show lined up for you, for everybody tuning in tonight or today on this wonderful Friday. I am joined by my man, Kevin, the bombastic, bullish Batstone.
And happy Friday, America. Did you get your taxes done? Because if you didn't, you're about screwed. Monday is the cutoff day. I hope everyone got theirs done. I got mine done. I'm happy to be here for Happy Friday, Art.
Yeah, and let's jump right into today in history. So, look, I have to start this by saying that April 12th is jam-packed with interest. I was just jam-packed.
That's what you were saying. Looks like it.
Yeah, it was jam-packed, so definitely go search Today in History online and if you have some extra time. But to start this one off, 1869, North Carolina legislature passes the anti-Ku Klux laws. So that's kind of a big one.
It is kind of a big one. A lot of folks don't know the Ku Klux Klan was actually founded right here at Cripple Creek, Colorado.
Really?
And they migrated down through Oklahoma and Texas and then off into the east. So that's kind of a fun fact Friday.
I didn't even know that. That is a fun fact. 1872, everybody likes the gunslingers, the olden days, right? So Jesse James, his gang robs a bank. $1,500 is what the total that they got was.
It's a lot in 1872.
At somebody's life, man. Somebody died.
Yeah, well, that's no good.
So I didn't do the conversion, but yeah, back then I'm sure that was a lot of money.
That's probably about 50 grand nowadays, I would say, maybe 75. Really? I don't know. You think about the little Red Dead times, but yeah, that's pretty wild, man.
Yeah, that's up there. 1945, Franklin D. Roosevelt dies in office. So, you know, what an awesome president, led this country through World War II, and then obviously President Harry Truman is sworn in as the 33rd president and then the first person to then order the nuke, the droppings on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. So that's pretty interesting because we talk nuke news all the time. Harry Truman was the first to ever do that. He didn't even know that these nukes were being made when he got pulled into being a president.
Yeah, he wasn't prepared for it as a 33rd U.S. president. It looks like 1955, the year that my mom was born. Polio vaccine tested by Jonas Salk and announced as safe and effective, full approval by the USDA or the U.S. FDA, I should say. Safe and effective, huh? All right.
Well, I wonder how long it took them to create that one. You know, probably longer than a year.
Well, and I've heard there's signs of it coming back.
Oh, interesting.
So that is interesting.
You know, there's a whole conversation around that subject, but we had to talk a little bit about USSR performing an atmospheric nuclear test, and that was in 1957. And then one that I could not pass up for the USSR, 1961, they send Yuri Gagarin. He becomes the first human to travel into space and orbit Earth. So that's really cool. That's the Vostok 1 spacecraft, and that is today in history.
That's a juicy bit of history right there.
Oh yeah, and there was much more.
Yes.
But we're talking about much more salmon next.
So I love salmon. I smoked one, in fact, on Easter a couple weeks ago. Found this article pretty interesting. It's actually kind of a disaster when you think about it. So there was a truck up in Oregon that was trying to repopulate a body of water. They were carrying this big rig full of water, salmon in it, approximately 100,000. And the truck wrecked, and it ended up dumping everything into Looking Glass Creek up in Oregon when they were on their way trying to get it into the Inhana River, is where their location was, to repopulate this river with salmon. Truck wrecks, splits the water tanker open. Diesel fuel's coming out too, so they had to contain the hazardous material so it didn't get into the water. But about 77,000 of these salmon ended up going into the wrong body of water.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So like, what's the impact of the salmon being in this other body of water then?
Well, I think it's too small of a creek. It does eventually lead into a much bigger river. You know, most creeks lead to bigger streams and rivers, of course. But I think the intention was to populate a completely different river that was miles and miles away. It didn't have anything to do with where it ended up. Now, what I don't know what happened to is the other 23,000 salmon. Were they able to save those that didn't make it into the river? Did they die? Was able to find that information out? But still, kind of a catastrophe up there in Oregon.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about anything, it has to get moved on a truck, and there's a lot of things that could happen on the road.
There sure is.
You know, like as much as we'd like to just think things arrive from A to B, no problem. That's not the case. And I'm gonna say that the additional salmon probably didn't make it, but
Probably not.
That's like a lot, though. That's like over like 30,000 salmon. That
Yeah.
like how? Well, that's a lot of cleanup.
It's a lot of cleanup. It was a mess. The road was shut down to get all this cleaned up. So, we'll see what happens with the Amana River with their population of the salmon. Because now do they go back and get another $100,000? Do they circumvent the plan and do something different? We'll see.
Yeah, that's really interesting. All I know is there's some bear down a random river that all of a sudden just hit the jackpot.
Oh yeah, they're eating good, real good.
And talking about kind of jackpots, but we're moving on to money here. And this was just one that kind of popped out to me, so I thought it was interesting because, you could go to Costco and buy, their hot dogs. You go to Costco and get, like, the deals on the bubbly waters. People like to go to Costco for their toiletries and stuff, bulk
items.
Bulk buying.
Their pizza's not that good.
But one thing, and you know what? We should put that one to the test, the Costco pizza.
I have.
What did that rent? We're going to get distracted here. We're going to get distracted.
Yeah, we're talking gold, silver.
Costco is selling gold and silver.
I saw that.
And so I didn't realize this, but gold is actually on an increase right now for the value.
Yep.
And Costco is like selling these coins that are like from Africa and they're like stamped from other places. And they do have a limit though. So they can only sell like up to $100 to $200 million worth of gold and silver per month. So that's still a lot of money, though.
That is, and that's Costco as a corporation, right?
I would say as corporation total, yes.
Which because Costco's massive, of course, but people are looking to put their money into other areas right now. Some of them taking out of stocks, putting it into crypto, putting it into precious metals like gold and silver. Just trying to secure assets in other areas that potentially won't lose value as we see the depreciation of the dollar. So, the fact that Costco is getting into this market is interesting because usually you have to go to your local gold and silver distributor, coin collectors, things of that nature, pawn shops. So good for them. It's a great move. I don't know if they're taking a percentage on margin on that or how they're making money on it.
Yeah, so they have like a minimal markup. According to Wells Fargo, they're selling for about 2% above spot price. And these are coming from a South African Rand refinery is what it's called.
Okay.
And they have like an elephant design.
It's cool.
They sell them in like a 1 ounce, also like a maple leaf. So they also got like a 25 coin pack and stuff. I honestly think that these things are precious metals are always going to hold that value or hopefully increase. And also it's a great, estate item to give down to family members or a gift. Yeah. It's just kind of crazy that you're buying it from Costco.
It just doesn't seem like the place to go for gold and silver purchasing. Like you said, you're getting your toilet paper and you're like, oh wait, honey, we got to go to aisle 28 and buy some gold. But that's where it's going.
But I guess they got the TVs and like the clothes too.
They're trying to make it a one-stop shop like anything else. They got Bitcoin ATMs going out into the market. It makes sense that some of these big conglomerates would take advantage of selling gold and silver. I wouldn't be surprised if you see, Walmart, aka Sam's Club, do the same thing. To get in on the action.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a big one. I wish I had more money to buy some gold coins right now.
Yeah.
And if you're carrying all these gold coins, they are going to be heavy. And if you can break a squat record, then you can carry a shit ton of gold. Kev, what's the random record for this week?
Man, this guy is a badass. I'm just going to say that. Good old Tony Pirano, not Tony Soprano. Tony Pirano of Decatur, Illinois, decided to go at the world record for most squats in a 24-hour period. That's right, squats. The previous record was 25,000 squats. He did 26,100 squats in 24 hours. Man, that made my legs sore just reading this article and thinking about that.
26,000?
26,100 squats. He did it in 30-second intervals, 22 squats. He would take a 30-second break, sometimes a little bit more, and he just kept going, man. And finally, he went from 5 a.m. on Thursday to 5 a.m. Friday, did the squats, probably was able to take breaks and rehydrate in between. But just think about that, man. 26,100 squats.
That is nuts. No, that is nuts.
That's potential muscle damage.
You have to be conditioning yourself for months in advance
to attempt this.
Yeah, like you're conditioning yourself and like practicing. How else?
Well, and he didn't just beat it by a couple. He raised this new record now by 1,100 additional squats.
Okay.
So the next attempt is going to have to go 26,101 to beat this record. And who knows? Maybe he gives it an attempt next year and raises his own record, or maybe David Rush jumps in on this one.
Man, Rush. I don't know what else Rush is able to accomplish, but he's been doing a lot. You know, I don't even think I would want to attempt this world record, but just imagine how good the glutes look on this dude.
Oh, he's probably got legs of steel.
Like I didn't see the video. Did you see the video?
I didn't see the video. I saw pictures of him. Like,
was he like?
He had like a wrestling suit on as he was doing it. You know, kind of like that attire.
Mm-hmm.
You know, workout gear, if you will. But yeah, there's no way I would attempt something like this. Maybe 500 in a day, because that would still be a challenge. You know, you do like 50 an hour.
You do 100 right today.
You'll be feeling it.
Yeah, you're gonna be sore.
You're gonna be
especially
feeling
if you don't normally do the squats. Yeah, so I'm guessing he had probably practiced for like a year, 6 months to a year.
Just doing a couple thousand here and there.
Before even attempting this thing.
Well, the thing is, somebody had to sit there and make sure that every squat was down to the line for Guinness Book to say, you got the record.
Yeah. So I wonder how many he did that didn't hit the line. That didn't count, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting, but that's my random record for this week.
That's a great random record. Love that. Next, we're bringing in the Would You Rather. Of course, we got to recap it from last week.
That is correct. As you know, every single Friday on our Twitter X page, the poll goes up over there at Happy Fry USA. Last week, we asked everybody, if you had to give something up and keep the other, would you rather give up beef or chicken?
Mm-hmm.
I think you and I agreed on this, or did we split?
We disagreed.
Okay, so I got rid of chicken. I kept the beef.
Yes.
You got rid of beef, kept the chicken.
Yes.
People are going with me. They're getting rid of the chicken, 66%.
That one's the more tempting one.
And 33% are staying with the beef.
Yeah. Hey, I can't disagree.
Or getting rid of the beef, I should say.
Hey, I can't disagree with you. I mean, I was trying to go healthier choice is what my intuition was telling me on that one, but beef is what's for dinner.
It's just a tough one, man, because they're both so good. Mm-hmm. Beef, I mean, I can't give up my brisket.
Yeah, the beef is good, and it's a little bit more versatile, but thank you, everybody, for participating in last week's Would You Rather. This week's Would You Rather is fantasy-based, and it's kind of like the Marvel Star Wars question that we did in the past, but just a little bit different. So I feel like you might struggle on this one, Kevin.
Probably.
However, everyone tuning in, I feel you might have some thoughts to weigh in. So, Sauron is ruling. Do you know who Sauron is?
No.
Okay, so that's like the bad guy in Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Or Voldemort has formatted their army. Do you know who Voldemort is?
The name sound familiar, but I couldn't tell you.
So he's the bad guy from Harry Potter.
Okay.
So basically what we're doing here is we're taking the Lord of the Rings universe, and we're also taking Harry Potter universe, and we're going verses on these two. So you are in one of these universes during the tumultuous time. Sauron is in control in Lord of the Rings, or Voldemort has the army prepared in Harry Potter. You're in this universe. However, this time you can be whoever you want. Okay? So you don't have to just be a plain Jane human, but you're going into like a conflict zone. Which one are you going to pick?
Well,
Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter, which one are you going to go fight in?
Being that I don't know anything about either of them, and hopefully the rest of America does better than I do, I'll go in the Harry Potter world.
Okay.
That was one of the first books that I actually read.
So then what do you think you would be?
I don't know.
What do you think you would be?
I'm not sure. I would just be there, I guess.
Yeah, I would want to be one of the cool animals if I was in Harry Potter.
One of the cool animals?
Yeah, because they got like some cool animals in there, I feel like.
All right. What, like a dragon?
Yeah. Do they got dragons in Harry Potter? I think they do.
They picture something like that in there.
I don't know. See, I know Lord of the Rings. I don't really know Harry Potter that well. Like, so I'll admit I don't know Harry Potter for shit, really.
Yeah.
So you're going Harry Potter.
I'm just going to take Harry Potter just because why not?
Okay.
I had to pick one.
No, yeah, it's a would you rather for a reason. I'm going Lord of the Rings, and you know what? I'm going to be an elf in this. They take forever to age. We all know Orlando Bloom was killing it as the elf. And so that I'm going elf on this. Would you rather fight for the universe of Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter? Let us know.
That's going to be a complicated one to type out on the Twitter because I only have so many characters, but I'll do my best tomorrow morning.
I'll help you get this done.
Yeah, that'll work.
You get it done.
So
yes.
If you understood that, would you rather go ahead and tell us which one you would rather do on Twitter X, or just leave a comment down below.
Yes. Then next we're jumping in to Chairs Flying.
Yeah, so Morgan Wallen's a big country music star. I'm not really a huge fan of him. I mean, he's done some, he's got some music out there that's done well, and he's doing some other shit with like Jelly Roll and some of these guys. Music-wise, he's all right. He sells out arenas and shit everywhere, but he's kind of a dumbass, all right? And the reason I say that is his name has been in the news a lot. And I understand these guys have their own problems they're dealing with and stuff. But when you're a star at this level, you just got to be held higher to a higher standard. You're a role model to kids. So he got drunk in Nashville last Sunday night and decided to hurl one of those like outdoor chairs,
like a metal chair.
Yeah, you'd see it like a rooftop lounge.
Yeah,
chucks it off a 6-story floor and came inches away from nailing 3 cops that were sitting there kind of patrolling the area.
Shut up.
Boom. If that had hit, so he's being charged with felony attempted assault with a deadly weapon, because it is. I mean, a chair from 6 story that hits you in the head, that'd kill you.
Yeah.
So he's facing it. A lot of people think maybe he's going to have some of these charges reduced, but as of now, that's what he's being charged with. He obviously got in trouble in 2016 with the DUI. He had the racial slur that got caught on his door cam back in 2020. So, Morgan Wallen just seems to like to raise a little bit of hell, and honestly, it's probably just going to end up helping his career down the road.
Yeah, how I feel about it, and like the cliches say, like, no, like any attention is good attention, right? But in a sense, I wouldn't. Now that I say that out loud with this circumstance, no, dude, you're throwing a chair off six story, like,
it's unacceptable.
Where's like the comprehension level of this man, like the critical thinking skills, and then does he get arrested because a cop nearly gets grazed? Like,
yeah,
that's like a give me for the cops. It's like, oh my God, this chair's flying off. Well, I guess I'm going up there, and like
it's almost like he wanted to create this madness. It's like how rappers like fake getting shot or whatever, or have someone do it for him to give him street cred. It's the same shit. I feel like just trying to do some redneck shenanigans in Nashville.
He wants to be. He's like trying to. He lost his muse. He's trying to come up with some more creative material. And this is how he's handling his own inner crisis.
Yeah, or he just was being a very reactive beta male and decided to hurl a chair off out of rage and anger because he didn't push against a wall. A lot of scenarios here.
And the latter actually is probably very logical. Yep. So yeah, if you're anybody, you should be respecting your environments and not reacting too much to things. But yeah, especially if you're in this higher caliber of in the spotlight,
it's unacceptable.
You'd think that you would try to like mind your business a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean,
be a better role model.
He basically tweeted an apology saying he was with a few old friends. They were horsing around. They was all in horseplay. We didn't mean any harm. What's he gonna say? I mean, he knows he fucked up, and we'll see what happens now. But it's just unacceptable, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that. Unacceptable. Also, what was unacceptable was all the fear mongering that happened around the eclipse, and what happened. Just what always happens when the eclipse happens, and it just got a little dark for a little bit.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure to point that out. But in Mexico, during the eclipse, last Monday on the 8th, this one's pretty funny. So they're going through, what was it, RCG Media. They're a 24/7 news source in Mexico. And, of course, everyone's super excited about the eclipse. I went outside for a little bit. Had a great time. It was a lot of fun.
I missed it.
Yeah, you're working, man. Kevin's always busy. You're trying to get in touch with Kevin. He's probably busy.
He probably won't hear back from me.
He's a busy guy. So everyone is submitting all their videos in and all this stuff for the eclipse, like all these pictures, as we do. And they're just running the report, and then a peculiar clip comes on, and they don't realize it at first. But what object that is actually covering the sun is not the moon, but a man's pair of testicles. And so, like, this guy, like, a fan sent in a video, literally, of, like, him teabagging, like, so he could, like, move his testicles in front of the sun. Like, he had the camera set up so
the sun was behind.
He could eclipse the camera with his balls.
Nuts. That's pretty, I mean, it's super creative. I'm going to give him creative credit there. Yeah. But to send it in, whoever's briefing this thing should have looked a little harder.
Yeah.
And seen that, somebody screwed up here.
Yeah.
Because this made their national news.
Yes. Yeah. And so it went out. Obviously, they've apologized and sorry for airing that, and they were super embarrassed when it had popped up. Yeah, this was a video sent in by a fan. They're all saying, like, I was seeing some comments on Reddit about how, like, well, if you're really zoomed in on the testicle, it could resemble, like territory on land and stuff like this. It could look like, and there's all these side comments on this guy who eclipsed the sun with his nuts. So
once again, creative credit.
Yeah. that one was funny.
That is pretty funny.
That one was pretty funny.
How long did it take them to realize, we got to pull that?
I think probably I don't know. My intuition, though, is telling me like around 10 to 15 seconds.
Someone's looking at it going, wait a minute.
Yeah, it was like 10 to 15 seconds. And then somebody's like, oh, those are some balls on screen right now.
What a world we live in.
Yeah, that's pretty funny, man.
That's pretty wild, man. Well, we made it through the eclipse, and now we're talking about Boeing. I was just on an airplane, and we've seen a lot of stuff in the news with Boeing here lately. There's doors falling off. A lot of it seemed to have happened in Denver. The engine panel was coming off on a Southwest jet. So there's a whistleblower now with Boeing, who's one of the largest aircraft manufacturers in the world, and they're not doing well right now because basically what has happened. There's an investigation that has been launched by the FAA due to a inside source that works with Boeing that basically they silenced the threat of what was going on with these Boeing 787 Dreamliners to increase production. They didn't want to slow down the investigation and have them check every nut and bolt.
I heard this, like they were missing, they didn't have all the parts.
Correct.
So then they're like using
Old parts.
old refurbished parts or like.
Which is against the rules according to the FAA. So now, and we're starting to see it. Planes are falling apart. They're not holding up. This is what happens when you don't take your time and you're trying to rush production. Hence why you see lemons and other things happening, recalls and whatnot. But this is kind of a big deal. We're talking 175 passenger commuter planes. And so not good news. Obviously, Boeing's been trending down a little bit. Their stock price fell 1.6% on Tuesday when this news broke. It's down 6.3% now on the weekly and over 23% on the monthly. So Boeing is definitely hurting from this news.
Yeah.
The problem is people are forced to take Boeing. I mean, most of our commuter airlines are Boeing aircraft. So
how long has it been going on for, though, is the question.
I think like 6 years.
And then so, like, are the majority of the planes that are out there right now in the field, like those, or in the air?
I would say it's a minority. I don't know about majority, but all you need is, let's say, even 5-6% of active airplanes right now are at risk of flying apart. That's not good.
Yeah, and then you look. Flying is less dangerous than driving a car, but there is a higher fear factor to flying.
Correct.
Like, people aren't as afraid of like driving as they are flying.
Right.
So, like, just a couple of these go down, like that can affect a lot, like all the airlines, all the airlines have Boeings in their fleet.
Yes, all the major ones.
Right.
I mean, there's Airbus. There's other.
Like Lockheed Martin has some too, right?
Airbus would be the other big one that I think competes. But every airline, I believe, works with Boeing as far as United, Delta, Southwest, JetBlue, Frontier, Spirit. Who knows about them? I think they're Boeing as well because they're kind of the budget aircraft of the bunch. But anyway, kind of a big deal. I'm hoping that something comes about this, to the point where, if they have to halt production, so be it. It's safety. I think comes before profit, in my opinion, but not in this country.
And that's where it gets a little frustrating, right? Because you want to believe that companies have our best interest in mind and they want to help life be better for all the citizens, right? But no, they're just trying to make how fat their pockets are better. They're not trying to help people really, and I don't know. There's a lot of ways to go with that one. Either way, it's like, people who whistleblow are at risk, like for getting, like going to jail or like all of a sudden they disappear, quote unquote. Yeah.
I mean, it'd be naive to think that hasn't happened before. When you were talking about a corporation this big that you could potentially take down and let the public know that they are unsafe, it's not good. And furthermore, if the head officials, and of course, look at this here, Art. Dave Calhoun, who is like Boeing's #1 in command, now that this information's out, he announced, I'm going to step down at the end of the year. So it's just always interesting when these big whistleblowers and these scams start to get uncovered. They're like, I'm out.
So
peace.
Like, I'm not responsible for this anymore.
Later. Because then they can loophole their way out of not having
like
to testify.
Right. Yeah.
It's all a corrupt, man. But anyway, not to end on a bad note. Hopefully
it's still a happy Friday.
It's still a happy Friday, of course. We got a great weekend coming up. The weather's going to be fantastic all around the country. Dallas, Texas. The Reggae Festival is going on down there in Dallas all weekend. They're great music festivals, of course, Art. Coachella.
Okay.
You ever been out there?
I have not.
It's a big music fest.
Yeah. I think I would rather be at the reggae one over Coachella personally. But yeah, if you're in California.
Coachella's like one of the biggest ones. Isn't it like What's that one in Chicago?
I guess Coachella has all the music.
Yeah, it's everything. And I heard Gwen Stefani is reuniting with No Doubt to do a performance at Coachella.
Okay.
So that's going on all weekend in Cali. What do we got in Tampa, Art?
Tampa is going to be the Food and Wine Festival out there. Delicious food, delicious drinks. I'm pretty sure they're doing it similar to Denver's, where it's like you buy the tickets, you're there, you go in there for like 3-5 hours or something. It's all you could eat or drink.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, so you just have a great time. Maybe it's not sold out. I'm not too sure. They do sell it pretty quick at those events.
And those tickets are a little pricey, but man, you get food and you can taste anything you want. I would highly recommend it. NASCAR, for all our Mash the Gas people, we had a bit of a problem thanks to the solar eclipse. The episode dropped late. Texas this weekend, Fort Worth, the Automotive Auto Trader Echo Park 400. I'm hoping for a good crowd this weekend because Texas is on the brink of getting axed out of NASCAR. So if you catch this, go out to the track this weekend, whether it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We got a triple header. It's going to be fantastic. Looking forward to it, Art.
Absolutely, and thank you so much for tuning in here at Happy Friday America. Kev, where can they find us?
Well, of course, you're right here on the Discussion Combustion Production YouTube channel. Be sure to check out our sister shows, Raw Talk and Discussion Combustion Podcast. Be sure to listen to Mash the Gas. That's on audio only. Follow us right here, Instagram and Facebook. That's going to be at Happy Friday USA. Twitter X, as I mentioned, where you can do the polls, watch the promo clips every Friday morning at Happy Friday USA. And if you'd like to get old school and send us an email, that's, of course, happyfridayamerica@gmail.com. The Fricashennas are getting ready to kick off the weekend. Enjoy the weekend, America.